All right, friends, so this is another video about the chaos and disarray and dysfunction of the House Republican Conference, which is currently experiencing a one-seat majority after the various resignations that have hit the conference. Now, Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, is a terrible guy. He is a fascistic theocrat. He wants to impose a white nationalist and Christian nationalist worldview on the rest of the country, which is yet another reason why Democrats need to win the 2024 election, not just in terms of the presidency, but also both chambers of Congress, right, to keep this guy out of power. But he also has an unenviable job. I won't pretend otherwise. He's also helped create that job to be unenviable, right? He played a role in it. But he's trying right now currently to hold the Republican conference together, and it's kind of like herding cats. And he recently conducted an interview, or was the participant of an interview, with former Congressman Trey Gowdy, right? Who, this guy isn't just a Fox News host. He's a former congressman himself, and he's been very critical of how the House Republican Conference has conducted itself, as well as the dysfunction within the conference. And they had a really interesting exchange. And the most interesting part is how Johnson unconvincingly referred to the woman who is trying to kick him out of his job.
Speaker, there is a pending motion to vacate from a member from Georgia, which sort of illustrates where we are politically. We lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia. Republicans did, 2 eminently winnable Senate seats. I would think members' time would be better spent looking to reclaim those 2 Senate seats in Georgia, as opposed to hanging the sword of Damocles over your head. But you're on Easter recess right now. How does it help the GOP grow the majority to be talking about a motion to vacate instead of talking about the border or inflation or other issues that are better for the GOP? How does this motion to vacate help win back the majority or win a bigger majority?
I don't think it does. And I think all of my other Republican colleagues recognize this is a distraction from our mission. Again, the mission is to save the Republic. And the only way we can do that is if we grow the House majority, win the Senate, and win the White House. So we don't need any dissension right now. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene filed the motion. It's not a privileged motion, so it doesn't move automatically. It's just hanging there. And she's frustrated. She and I exchanged text messages even today. We're going to talk early next week. Marjorie's a friend. She's very frustrated about, for example, the last appropriations bills. Guess what? So am I. As we discussed, Trey, these are not the perfect pieces of legislation that you and I and Marjorie would draft if we had the ability to do it differently. But with the smallest margin in U.S. history, we're sometimes going to get legislation that we don't like. And the Democrats know that when we don't all stand together with our razor-thin majority, then they have a better negotiation position. And that's why we got some of the things we didn't like. Now, we fought like warrior poets to keep some of those Senate appropriations or some of those Senate earmarks out of the bill. And we were successful in getting a lot of the terrible stuff out. But a few of them made it through, and that's what Marjorie's upset about, and I am too. But I want to talk with her about reforming the budgeting and spending process going forward. That's what Republicans are for. That's the transformational kind of changes that we can forge if we all stand together.
Right. So again, historically speaking, the expression was Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. And generally speaking, for most of modern history, that was the case until Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump created so many fractures within the Republican Party with his stupidity and narcissism and losing streak. I mean, but my God, what a loser that man is, besides the 2016 election. Every election cycle since then, under his watch, Republicans have accrued L after L after L. I say that the Republican alphabet is 26 L's. So again, Mike Johnson is experiencing something relatively new that Democrats used to struggle with all the time, which is, again, trying to herd cats in a relatively large tent. But Mike Johnson has contributed to the extremism, which has made us so. But again, what's so funny about all this is he's trying to, hey, listen, sure, she's trying to fire me, so to speak. Sure, she's trying to get me ousted from my position. Sure, she has said some really incendiary things about me, but I mean, it's just what friends do. We're friends. We're buddies. We texted earlier today. I texted her Happy Easter. She texted me a selfie with her middle finger extended. It's basically the same.